Frontier technologies will have a profound effect on the global economy, and the question, of course, facing the United States is whether we'll be a leader that can shape our own destiny or simply be pulled along by a wave of innovation. Mr. Reinhart, in your testimony, you cited that nearly 10% of U.S. businesses are utilizing artificial intelligence, more than doubled from 2 years ago. As usage increases, the processing power necessary to train and deploy advanced AI applications will increase in kind, and energy demand will intensify. American leadership is incredibly important in AI and dependent on this growth in energy production. Could you discuss how energy dominance is necessary and fits into the overall strategy for America's leadership in AI?
Yeah, I think that most everyone is recognizing that at the end of the day, the real binding constraint for compute, right, the input for AI really will be energy, right? America has an incredible supply of semiconductors. We have the talent, we have data, we have the organization. The real thing that it seems that in the near term we're going to be constrained will be energy usage. I will say, having looked at some of this, the projections are kind of all over the board, to be very honest. I think we need to do a better job. I know the EIA has been doing projections. So fundamentally, it really does come down to energy at the end of the day. Energy and semiconductors, I would say, as the fundamental input for the new AI economy.
Great, thank you. Pittsburgh's a growing destination for innovative companies. We have, of course, Carnegie Mellon there and University of Pittsburgh. Last summer, we hosted this inaugural Pennsylvania Energy and Innovation Summit. And we hosted executives from investment world, AI, hyperscalers, and energy companies. And there was a $92 billion of investment announced in Pennsylvania. But the thing that kept coming up again and again, particularly as we thought about this infrastructure build, was a shortage in skilled labor and the need to ensure that we had the labor necessary to meet this growing demand. Mr. Beard, you underscored this message that I've heard across the Commonwealth about a need for a revitalized U.S. manufacturing base and stronger workforce development programs. Could you speak to the challenge and the opportunity in finding and building skilled labor in the robotics sector and how this is essential to meet the investment demand that we're seeing?
Absolutely. We've heard from hundreds of manufacturing customers, and we've heard across the board that it's very hard to hire for manufacturing today. And this goes from machinists to welders to people who can help assemble. And I think there's a couple things that we can do to really lead here. Part of our proposal in our submitted testimony is to create these centers of manufacturing excellence to really redo the MEP program, to have these amazing centers where you can go and you can see all the latest equipment, you can learn from people who are experts in the field. It's really about putting our heads together as a country, because manufacturing is a bit of a lost art. And I think for a while we thought basic manufacturing wasn't important and we'll just focus on advanced. And the truth is both are very important. And so I think if we have centers where you can go and get trained, and in partnership with community colleges and local universities and trade schools, that we can start to train back. And we're actually having to do that ourselves to create our own training programs to train robotics experts, because there aren't enough of them in this country right now.
Thank you, Mr. Beard. Mr. DeMasi, could you comment on the investment landscape and projected growth of quantum computing? And in particular, I'm interested in how the United States compares to China and the rest of the world in number of startups, patents granted, capital, and scientific publications. What's the mark to market on where we are relative to the rest of the world, and who's growing or who's accelerating?
Thank you for that question. Well, we're fortunate in this country that the world's largest quantum company is IonQ, and it's obviously based here in College Park. So we've been at it 30 years. We've been building for 30 years. And private capital markets in the United States have, of course, built on some of the start that we got with government support a few decades ago. And private capital tends to find good ideas. And so we have seen a tremendous, of course, interest on both sides of the Atlantic for companies such as IonQ. And I think that there are, I call them slow followers, but there are also RANDs in our sector, of course, who are trying to compete with IonQ in the private markets and are smaller than us and behind us both temporally and by any other measure, unit economics, revenue, et cetera. With China, we've had problems, honestly, with theft. That has impacted us. We have an office in Oxford, England. Our headquarters is here, College Park, Maryland. There have been thumb drives that go into servers at 3 a.m. and people leave the country, kind of thing. So I, of course, ask for your help on that topic, as it's not a symmetric playing field. China has invested heavily in state-sponsored initiatives. We believe that we have a 5-year lead over them presently. IonQ does, but specifically because the U.S., this administration, has supported not just growth in our company, but also combinatory progress. So we acquired a company in Oxford, England, called Oxford Ionics that we announced at the Technology Prosperity deal signing in September, and that was obviously very important for catalyzing success for us. And so I think, look, the strengths in, of course, our system is that it's not top-down. At the same time, it remains very competitive.
Very good. Thank you to the panel.